As you're probably aware, the price of silver dropped fairly sharply on Friday. The price was down over 4% at the lows of the day, and silver closed the day in the red under 20 bucks. And boy, the trolls have just been out in force ever since. In the comment section on these videos, on the Wall Street Silver subreddit, and other places, I am sure there's been quite a bit of gloating, a lot of I told you so's, but I think it's a little premature for the trolls to be gloating. We've still got $30 trillion in national debt. We've got 125% debt to GDP ratio. The trade deficit's out of control. The dollar status as the world's reserve currency continues to be threatened by these de-dollarization efforts by hostile nations around the world. And so I just think it's a little premature for the gloating on the part of the trolls. However, for us stackers, I think we should be saying thank you for the sale price on silver this weekend, because all of those fundamental factors that will ultimately drive the price of precious metals much higher are still in effect. And this price drop, it's really just some noise in the market, and it means that silver is even more undervalued and even cheaper than it was before. And will the price drop a little bit lower? Possibly. Timing markets is very difficult, especially in the kind of markets that we have where the price setting mechanism is broken in a lot of regards. There's a lot of micromanagement, a lot of control by the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of manipulation we know in the precious metal space. I mean, that's a fact. Major banks have been paying millions or billions of dollars in fines for that over the past several years. So, they're going to play their game. Let's play ours, to borrow a phrase from Greg Manarino. If the price of silver gets driven lower, great. It's all paper trading that's driving the price lower anyway. Part of the drop on Friday, it's like a liquidity crisis. Investors' assets are dropping across the board, so investors need to raise cash any way they can. And they're selling everything, silver included. Babies getting thrown out with the bathwater. But none of those investors were selling physical silver like what I have in my hand right here. They were selling paper silver, and that's almost always the case. There's over 300 ounces of paper silver traded for every ounce of underlying metal. It's basically a rigged market. It's one where the spot price is a derivative of the actual physical product. Spot price is determined by the price of a paper futures contract, not by the actual value of an ounce of silver, because I'll tell you what, you can't buy one of these for under $20 right now. But there are some good deals out there for those who want to take advantage of this dip. And in today's video, I'm just going to go over a few quick deals that I was able to find, some things that you might be able to benefit from and take advantage of this weekend if you are buying the dip. And also, we'll look at a little bit of data just to show just how cheap silver is right now. So, let's get to it. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a chart since 1693 of the gold to silver ratio from longtermtrends.net. And the first thing I want to point out is that for hundreds of years, this ratio stayed right around the 15 level. I mean, it fluctuated slightly around that, but that was essentially the fixed ratio, 15 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. Now, in 1873, we had the crime of 1873. That was the demonetization of silver. And you can see that after that, this ratio started to fluctuate a lot more as silver was demonetized. But another thing you'll notice is that this chart only goes up to 100 a few times, in 1940, in 1991, and then also in 2020 when the chart got up to, I don't know if you can see it here on this timeline, but the gold to silver ratio briefly got up as high as about 125. It's the highest it's ever been. And one of the things that this tells us when the ratio gets this high is that silver is extremely undervalued. Now we'll compress this to the 1-year chart, and you can see that right now the gold to silver ratio is about 9103. So it's not in an absolute extreme reading, but it is very high. And this does mean that on a relative basis, silver is a lot cheaper than gold right now. I would probably lean towards silver at this point, although gold is a lot more stable. It's been basically the best performing asset of 2022, and that's part of why this chart has developed like this, because silver has fallen a bit, but gold has not fallen as much. But another thing I want to point out is that if we go back to this 100-year chart, we can look at these instances where gold and silver got to about 100, and I don't know about 1940, but I know if in 1991 you bought silver, you did pretty well for yourself. And in 2020, when this ratio spiked up really high, you did very well because silver was extremely cheap at that point, and it went on a nice rip after that. So, what does this chart tell us about the price correction on Friday? Well, I think it tells us that in an extreme event like what we saw in 2020, we could see silver sell off more. The ratio could get even higher. But if it does, that'll almost certainly indicate a bottom, because this ratio almost never hangs around above 100 for any amount of time. It doesn't even hang out at these elevated levels where we're at right now for any amount of time. Could silver drop further? Of course, that's always a risk, especially in the kind of environment that we are in right now, where there is tremendous amounts of uncertainty. But, overall, I think this tells us that silver is just really cheap. And, that's why I tend not to go all in at any time on a metals purchase. I'm probably making a small purchase this weekend, and I'll show you some of those listings that I think are a good deal in just a moment. But first, I also want to look at this. This is the most recent commitment of traders data released on June 28th. This tells us that silver is really cheap right now too. This goes back 1 year, and these red bars on the bottom, these are the commercial short positions, and the commercial traders tend to get it right. And you can see right now they are the least amount short silver in the past year. And when you get to readings like this, that tends to indicate that you are near a bottom in the price of silver. I mean, the chart could, of course, get to more extreme readings if the price of silver falls, but I don't think that there's going to be that far to fall. And again, if silver does fall any further, I think it would more or less be time to back up the truck. None of this is financial advice, of course. I'm just providing you with some data and giving you my thoughts. But to me, silver seems really cheap right now. And then these blue bars and tan bars above that, that is the speculative long positions. And so you can see that those have gotten to the lowest point in the past year as well. And so what this means is that there is speculative money sitting on the sidelines ready to come into the silver market, and that could fuel a bullish run because there's not that many long positions right now. And that also means there's not that many people left to sell. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the silver market at the moment, some data. Now let's take a look at those listings. But first, I do just want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, silverbotanicals.com, household and personal hygiene products that utilize the power of nano silver. You can head over to silverbotanicals.com to check them out. There's a link down in the description. Don't forget to use coupon code STACKER to save 10% off your order. All right, so the first listing I found which looks appealing to me is on SD Bullion. They've got 90% silver mercury dimes, a $5 face value roll for $107.52. And if you do the math right now, that comes out to, let's see, 107.52 divided by 5. So that's $21.50 per $1 face value. If you divide that by 0.715, that'll tell us with this listing, you're paying about $30 a troy ounce for silver. So that is definitely a significant premium. But the thing about mercury dimes is, they're really old. They haven't minted them in quite some time, and there is a shrinking supply. And that's why, if you've seen my videos on the topic, you know that I am a big fan of stacking mercury dimes. It gives you physical silver, it gives you legal tender silver, and it gives you a piece of history and coins which have a rising premium. And that's a premium that I think will continue to go up, benefiting those who stack it today. If you're just looking to get the best deal on junk silver possible, Hero Bullion had the best prices I was able to find. They've got $1 face value, so you don't have to buy any amount. You can just buy $1 face value at a time. Although if you want to get the free shipping, you got to buy at least $149 worth of product from them. But that's pretty easy to do. And you can see this listing, they're selling $1 face value for $19.67. And that comes out to $27.51 per troy ounce. So that's not a bad deal for junk silver. Anytime you can get junk silver under $20 for $1 face in today's market conditions, that looks like a buy to me. This is probably actually the listing I will personally be taking advantage of this weekend. If you've seen my videos on junk silver, I am a big fan of it. Now, I know some of you out there, you just want to get the most silver for your money, and this premium is a little too rich, and I understand that. I think it's worth paying on the junk silver. If you just want to get the most amount for your money, you might want to check out this listing from Liberty Coin on eBay. They had the cheapest kilo bars I was able to find, so if you like the metric system and you just want to get a lot of silver for your money, you can buy a kilo for $725.43, and then if you buy in volume, if you buy 10 kilos, you can pay $722.93. And if we want to know what that comes out to in terms of troy ounces, since this is in metric, we've got to do a little conversion. Divide that price by 32.1507, and that is $22.56 per troy ounce of silver. So that's a pretty good deal, I think. This is definitely the way to go if you're just looking to get the most silver for your money. A larger bar like this, and Liberty Coin has great deals regularly. And I just want to point out, none of this is a paid sponsorship or anything. I'm just shopping around and showing you guys where the best prices on silver are. I'm not getting compensated for any of this. I do have an affiliate link for SD Bullion down in the description. That's always there. If you want to click that, you make a purchase, I might get a couple bucks. But other than that, no affiliation with any of these dealers. And then finally, Hero Bullion has these Aztec calendar 1 ounce rounds. And now this isn't the absolute best deal on silver that I was able to find, although it's not bad for a 1 ounce round. You know, if you get a roll of 20 of them, you're paying $24.31 per ounce, which is a bit of a premium. But I wanted to show you this listing because as far as 1 ounce rounds go, that's kind of the normal premium these days, and this is not a bad deal. And I've had a lot of people asking me where they can find these. This is the coin, or the round rather, that I hold in a lot of my videos. And so if you want to be like the smart silver stacker and carry around a Aztec calendar round in your pocket with Cuauhtemoc here, the last emperor of the Aztec Empire, on the front, then you can get one of these over at Hero Bullion this weekend and you'll get a good deal. So that's it for this video, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you buying the dip, or do you think silver has a lot further to fall? And if you know where there are some great deals on silver, share those with all of us in the comments below as well. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker, out.